Dogecoin, the meme coin, the joke that became a movement. For years, it's been dismissed by many in the crypto world, written off as a fad, a punchline, or a relic of blockchain's early days. But what if there's more to the story? Today, we're exploring a new chapter for Dogecoin, one that aims to move beyond its meme origins and position it at the foundation for a broader app ecosystem. At the center of this effort is DogeOS, an app layer for Dogecoin designed to bring together community, culture, and liquidity to power the next generation of consumer applications. Developed by the team behind MyDoge, the most widely used Dogecoin wallet with over 500,000 users, DogeOS represents an ambitious attempt to transform Dogecoin into a platform for gaming, DeFi, AI, and more. While most developers gravitate toward chains like Ethereum and Solana, DogeOS is taking a different approach, focusing on Dogecoin's unique position as one of the most distributed retail assets in crypto. The project is building infrastructure to unlock new use cases for Doge, including native yield, lending, and programmability, all while encouraging developers to experiment with new applications. To better understand this vision, we'll be speaking with Jordan Jefferson, founder and CEO of DogeOS and MyDoge. We'll discuss the motivations behind this initiative, the challenges of building on Dogecoin, and what the future might hold for Doge and other meme coins. What does this mean for Dogecoin's evolution? What's launching first? And why should developers, traders, and Doge holders pay attention? Let's find out. Welcome to the Defiant Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Defiant Podcast. I'm your host, Vinny, and I am here with Jordan Jefferson, who is the CEO of both MyDoge and DogeOS. Thank you so much for being here, Jordan.
Thanks for having me. Very excited.
I know. I feel like I've been dancing around with your team for what feels like months at this point, and I'm very excited that we get to talk today, given that Doge has been in the news all week for really exciting price predictions. So let's jump right in. I would love to just hear about what brought you specifically to Dogecoin. And, it's something that's been seen as a meme coin, a joke, something that is not really taken that seriously outside of its volatility and therefore its ability to, potentially make meme coin traders a lot of money. So what made you decide that it was worth building serious infrastructure for? And why do you think now is the right time to transform it into not just a meme coin, but a thriving ecosystem?
Great question. And, I think that we are somewhat serious, but we're not too serious is how I'd like to start the answer to this. Because, Dogecoin is and forever will be a joke. And I think that's really important. And what we're trying to do is just kind of carry that joke a little further, because I think the biggest joke of all is that this joke currency overturns the global financial system. And so that's sort of the mission driving this. How did we find ourselves here? My co-founders and I have been in crypto for a long time, and we wanted to do something really fun. And we saw an opportunity and really like a need from the Dogecoin community, and that not a lot of people were building just for Doge. All the attention was kind of in Web3 a few years ago when we started building the wallet, and Doge was sort of on the outside of Web3 because there weren't really developer capabilities. And so we just knew we had to build something for Doge. We've all been Doge fans. We looked at the space and we said, you know what? There's not even just like a solid Doge wallet app in the App Store. Let's just start there, build something we think the community is going to want. And from there, we'll figure out the next thing. Sky's the limit. And so we dove in, we built the wallet, launched it about 3 years ago in the App Store. Community was stoked, got a lot of users, just no marketing out the gate. People were so happy to see it's just for Doge. There's special Doge features. They get the community. And yeah, that's kind of what brought us in. What kind of propelled us to where we are now. It's really the community. We started building in Doge. We realized, wow, there's actually something special here. Doge is cool. It's a big meme. Biggest meme ever. The original meme coin, meme chain. But I didn't really realize till I dove in how special the community was. And it's really like a unique vibe in crypto. And so we build the wallet, we're figuring out what's next. We just want to build an ecosystem around it because we think there's more fun to be had. There's more use cases for Doge. We can take this joke even further. And yeah, that's where we are now.
I love that. I mean, what's funnier than making a lot of money and investing smartly? That's hilarious. But I do love, I was looking on MyDoge in the days leading up to our chat, and you're right. Like, there's just the memes just continue, and they're high quality memes. They're funny, they're clever, right? So there's clearly this energy behind Doge. And have you felt that having this strong brand awareness, if we're looking at, the cryptocurrency Doge as a brand, it's thriving, like, and has been despite the price. Like, I feel like a lot of the times the price has nothing to do with its success. It's really about the people who believe in it for whatever reason it is. So has having a really active community been a bolster to you guys feeling inspired on what you like to do next?
I think, the price is something that gets a lot of attention and draws a lot of new people in, but it's really the vibes, the memes, the community that kind of keep those people, and then they, really get Doge pilled and stick around. And so I think we are 100% capitalizing on the opportunity that the Doge meme has presented, right? There's so much awareness around Doge that we're able to onboard new users into the ecosystem because they've kind of heard of it. It's different than going out on the street and saying, hey, have you heard about XYZ coin? And no one's heard of it. And you're trying to, people are like, oh, what are you talking about? But when you bring up Doge, everybody's heard of it. So I think it's really hard to go out and build it's hard to build a product starting from zero and just build a community around it.
Right.
We're very lucky that there's this massive community. I mean, one of the biggest communities in crypto, and they're hungry for more. So without that, I think we'd be doing something totally different because whether it's the wallet, whether it's DogeOS, the ecosystem that we're trying to build, if you don't have a community already, what are you doing? You're going to go out, you're going to need hundreds of millions of dollars and all this marketing or some crazy, new viral narrative. We're just kind of riding the coattails of the greatest meme in the world and trying to see what does the community want? What can we do? Let's hang out with them. How can we empower them to meme more and meme funnier?
Totally. That's the thing, as soon as the community is creating their own content, and that's what's so viral about memes, right? Is that all of a sudden everyone from the degen in his mom's basement to the artist at, Miami Art Basel is creating things to bolster up this narrative. And that's, I think, what really brings us together. And so on that topic, I'd love to hear about what you see Doge specifically bringing to the table here, because I think most developers are flocking towards, obviously Ethereum, Solana, a very close second, and even there's been some more building on places like Polkadot. So what's the unique opportunity that you see in building around Dogecoin, and how does DogeOS specifically position itself as the app layer for the people's currency?
Amazing. So yeah, great question. Why build on Doge? How does a builder find themselves on Doge? I can talk about our journey, going out there and trying to onboard builders to the Doge ecosystem. I think there's a couple unique things that we have to offer. Ethereum, Solana, Polkadot, any big chain versus Doge, okay? Doge is sort of tapping into a totally new market. Many Doge holders are not really on chain. A lot of them have just, bought Doge and Robinhood, for instance.
Right.
And if they are on chain, they're not really Web3 yet. They haven't, there's no dApps. They haven't interacted with protocols. They haven't played games that are really integrated. And so there's this, user base of millions, tens of millions of holders that are kind of fresh. And the opportunity there is twofold, okay? So there's a new audience instead of competing with everyone else on Solana over the same audience.
Right.
But more so, I think the exciting part and what really drives us is a bit of a clean slate to sort of, start from ground zero and without existing paradigms and expectations and kind of build a newer ecosystem with starting from any crazy idea. I think the fun about that is we have all these consumers that are kind of Web 2 consumers. They're dipping their toes into crypto when they buy Doge. No expectations. We can look at the market and say, okay, what do we think could be better in crypto, but it's so entrenched or everyone's so used to it? And how can we do something very differently? So to really answer the question, when we talk to builders, it's a couple things. One, there's a new market here that no one's competing over, and they don't have any expectations. They just want something fun. That excites a lot of builders. The second is just distribution in general. everybody is looking for distribution, and I mean like users, exposure to users. And so it's something with this Doge army hungry for experiences that's naturally there, and then it's also something that we can help with because we have a wallet with 500,000 users, because we have all these people on the team who are pretty famous Doge people on X and beyond. We can really help get the word out there about these apps to this fresh audience that is just so hungry, and not only hungry, but super supportive. Like, Doge users don't just want to see new apps, experiences, things to buy, ways to spend Doge. They also want to get involved. They want to help these things. When they see someone building something they love, they're like, okay, how can I help? If they're a dev, if they're an artist, if they're a KOL, it doesn't matter. They really want to get in there and help. And so our biggest pitch to builders is really like, hey, there's a new opportunity. We can be weird, we can be different, we can try new things. And like, there is an audience here that we think is certainly like a new audience in crypto.
Yeah, and it sounds like, ironically, these are kind of Web 2.1 kind of users, right? So they've dipped their toes in. But while I'm seeing Ethereum and Solana in this kind of race to get into space, the Dogecoiners are already on the moon chilling, right?
Absolutely.
So it seems like this really unique opportunity with just that static electricity. I think that's something that Doge has always just really been winning at, the amount of ecstasy that the people who believe in it bring. So let's dig in a little bit more to DogeOS. It's not just theoretical, here it comes. So you already have a Doge-backed stablecoin, lending protocols, perps, and prediction markets in the works. So can you tell us what is being built for launch and which use cases excite you the most?
Absolutely. And there's a lot of stuff. To be honest, I've been talking to friends throughout the industry, doing ecosystem in different places, and they're absolutely shocked at how many developers are already building for Doge that we haven't paid, basically, that we have not bribed with grants and so on and so forth. There's a lot of cool, innovative stuff. I'll talk a little high level at first. What do we want to see? Of course, anyone can build anything. I want to see stuff that we never even thought of. But what are our initial ideas, and what are kind of killer apps being built already? There's a few things. And so I'll start with maybe the least sexy of them, which is DeFi. But I think it's extremely important.
Shots fired, Jordan.
DeFi people. It's very important, but it's probably not as crazy as the other stuff I'll mention. I think there's a very clear need and opportunity with Doge. And the reality is, most of the Doge is sitting on centralized exchanges. It's not moving around. It's not being put to work. And the goal of Dogecoin is to be money, right? The idea is Doge is money, future currency of Earth, Moon, Mars, beyond. But you can buy stuff with Dogecoin. You can send Dogecoin to your friends. But we're sort of lacking financial infrastructure for Dogecoin itself. And
where's DogeFi?
Exactly. It's coming. It's coming quicker than you think. And so the mission with DogeFi is really, we got to get Doge off exchange and being put to work. We got to create, a financial layer for the people. It's the people's currency. Let's see, where are banks failing people, and where can infrastructure built on Doge help those people? And yes, in many ways, by your expression.
Yeah. How much time you have?
Exactly. And so the DeFi opportunity is really, I think, empowering for the community as a whole. If we can actually build this infrastructure together, let people earn from the Doge that's now being put to work, give people earning opportunities with Doge, that's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. But I will say, DeFi is not going to onboard new users, right? Someone on the street doesn't hear there's Dogecoin DeFi, let me go use Dogecoin now, right? So it's kind of an amazing tool for the Doge holders. We have some pretty innovative stuff that even DeFi users across other ecosystems are going to take a look at and be like, that's really cool. But our ultimate goal here is really, how do we onboard millions, billions of more users and normal consumers, if you will. And that's, I think, the opportunity with Doge. It's already been the thing, onboarding normies to crypto for so long. It's a meme that everyone recognizes. What is the fun stuff that we can do that is going to get someone who's I've heard about Doge and now I want to do this? Or what's the fun stuff that we can do where, I've held Doge in my Robinhood, my Binance, whatever, for so long, but now wait, there's this really cool thing that we can do with Dogecoin. And so I think that's the big opportunity. It's a big challenge. It's hard to it's hard to come up with crazy novel ideas, right? So we're out there looking for everyone who's got something crazy and different. We don't want to just copy paste every blockchain and like, oh, our blockchain now needs this, our blockchain now needs this. Of course, you do need certain things, right? You need DEXs and DeFi primitives and developer tools and all that. But the fun thing here is like, what's going to be crazy, different, viral, and super true to Doge itself. So, it can kind of like ride the wave that this meme's already on. And that stuff, like, I'll give a few examples, okay? So gaming, I think gaming, just casual gaming specifically, fits Doge super well. And, I talked earlier about, okay, how do we look at blockchains and do something differently? And so a lot of crypto games are really built around like economics. They're built around a token. They're built around like play to earn or pay to win and so on and so forth. We're working with a few people who are really trying to innovate in the space of bringing crypto into games without ruining the games or even changing the games or even making the games all about money. And so we have like a couple, I'll give one example called Plays Out. We're also working with a team. I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it yet, but they're all trying to tackle this concept, which is, okay, let's take a bunch of cool games. First of all, let's Dogify them, okay? Or let's build games around this meme, because there are not enough games in the world with this cute dog in them. And I think when you start from there, you can make stuff that's like way more wacky and fun and memey and viral. You could even take your old game where maybe you're not getting enough traction, and we can be like, look, here's how we think you should Dogify this, and we'll send this out to the Doge community, and they're gonna absolutely love it. And so starting from that, the thing that these guys are trying to innovate on is really, okay, could we have like a casual gaming ecosystem where you actually can play all these games, developers don't have to change their games, make them all about money, but you could still earn something. You could still earn some Doge. And a lot of people have tried to tackle this in the space before. I think it's a bit of a challenge, but we're really innovating on that front to basically bring an incentive to just like have fun and play, bring progress, experience to an entire ecosystem instead of just one game. And if you earn some Doge or something else along the way, that should just be like an extra fun benefit. It shouldn't really be the whole point.
Yeah, I agree. I think the world of crypto gaming has been very cringe. And I think you really hit it on the head there. It's because money, like how do you monetize this is the number one thing. And it's like having fun is the main point of games. Like it's enjoying yourself and strategy, depending on what the game is. And so like to foist, the money into it in such an unnatural way, I think is why it hasn't really panned out as of yet. So yeah, you're totally right. I think like one of my favorite games ever is like a Sega game. It was like Sonic the Hedgehog on Sega. It was super simple, literally like 80s core type shit, and it was exciting because it's a cute little creature and some fun tasks, right? And so like, I love this idea of seeing the Doge being a big part of this. And again, that will just like proliferate the way it does without any help.
Absolutely. I'd love to throw one other example out there because you asked kind of broad question what we're building. And so this kind of taps into the meme again. This like just thought of this when we were mentioning that. And it's around AI. There's obviously a huge movement around AI. It's like the hottest thing in the world. There's a ton of developer interest, which is important. There's a ton of investor interest, which is important to developers. The opportunity in Doge is we have some of the best content creators and memers in the entire world in the Doge community. And
can't deny that. You heard it here first, guys.
Let's go. This is the best. You're already full Doge. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I started at NFTs, so the meme culture is strong with us.
Perfect. And so that's exactly the type of people we're trying to kind of empower. And so we have some AI projects building in the ecosystem, but what we're really trying to do is, okay, how can we make like crazy, more accessible creator tools for basically making memes or awesome content? And I think, if you played around with AI, it's really easy to, hop into Grok, ChatGPT, whatever, VO for videos, all these new stuff and make cool stuff. But what's hard is taking it the next step where you're actually kind of like training models and fine tuning models and making like the next level of content. That's kind of like a jump where you kind of go from like a normal person to like almost a developer. And maybe you need a GPU or maybe you need all this other stuff.
Stop. Me? A developer?
Well, we're going to make everybody feel that powerful, okay? Because we're basically, not us, but some amazing teams building in the ecosystem, basically making these tools way more accessible and user-friendly. So pull all this amazing stuff together. And the cool part is, we have so many top memers, in the world, famous memers in the Doge community, they're the people to go to and get to beta test your app. Hey, would you actually use this? What kind of features do you need? What is stuff that you're actually spending hours doing to create this amazing little video meme that maybe we could make easier with AI? And so I'm also really excited about that. Just, again, it's all about the memes, so let's just empower the memers and, I don't know, they'll carry us to the moon, I guess.
The PR Genius is a top crypto PR and growth marketing agency, helping brands globally with expert PR and strategic growth marketing. They've worked with 300 plus projects like Movement Labs and IO.net. Unlike traditional agencies, they charge only on performance. Their services include earned PR opportunities and marketing services to help boost wallet holders and organic X followers. Learn more at www.theprgenius.com.
I'm really excited that you guys are taking such a creative approach as well. The fact that you opened by saying DeFi, yeah, we're going to have it, but that's not the main course here. We're interested in other things. And I think that's really exciting. And like you're saying, I do believe that's going to appeal to a much wider audience and specifically a much different audience. Because I think having worked in NFTs and DeFi, I can definitely say that the communities are very different. The culture is very different. And then you go into the people who are into meme coins, and that's totally different too. I was in Lisbon for NFC, and there was a meme coin stage, and that was just the strangest part of the conference. And I mean that in a good way. Yeah. That's where the freaks were hanging out, right? But freaks are what create amazing new things that no one's ever heard of.
Absolutely. We welcome all the freaks. We are also weird. It's the best place to be.
It's time to celebrate it and work together, I guess. So you mentioned earlier that, you guys are looking towards creating solutions for ways that maybe traditional finance or banks have failed us. It's sort of implied that Bitcoin and Ethereum, being the two main, the two biggest cryptocurrencies and certainly the most famous, are potentially failing us as well. Are there any kind of things that you think those protocols are lacking that you feel like Doge is going to be able to provide?
Great question. Interesting. I would say, I was an early Bitcoin guy before I kind of got Doge pilled. I actually, at first, I was oh yeah, Dogecoin's a joke. I didn't really connect that there could actually be value in the joke or great value to a meme. I think Bitcoin's taken a different path, right? It's really an asset and not money now. And so I think it serves a purpose. It's certainly turned out to be the greatest investment in the history of the world, more or less. But it's not serving the same purpose as kind of just digital cash. And so the other part to this is I think that, Dogecoin, it's the second or third most decentralized currency by the numbers, let's say. Maybe don't quote me on that, but it's the second biggest proof of work network in the world. It's extremely decentralized. But I also think it's decentralized and democratized by the fact that it's held by so many people in small numbers, and institutions, whales, whatever, they also don't or didn't take it seriously for the longest time. And so while Bitcoin, we're even seeing in the last week or two, an insane transfer of wealth from early Bitcoin holders into these new BlackRocks and institutions and public companies. And
right.
We are that has not happened whatsoever in Dogecoin. And so I think we're starting from a place of having the currency is really in the people's hands. Okay. So the opportunity here is that it does not Bitcoin's probably in a rich get richer stage much more than it is, transforming the common person financially at this point. I think that ship has sailed to a degree. I still think it's a great investment. I hold Bitcoin, don't get me wrong. But I think Dogecoin, there's much more of a transformative opportunity at our hands. So this is this is a high level response of the philosophy behind why we're doing it, right? And then you look at Ethereum. Obviously the most robust DeFi ecosystem in the world. Okay, so what are we doing differently beyond kind of who's involved in the philosophy of it? One is that I think we're trying to build everything or encourage teams to build everything in a way that we can let the people earn a piece of the pie. If we're able to move all the Dogecoin off exchanges, where the exchanges are making tens of billions of dollars on trading fees, then how do we get the common person, who helped in that effort, whether they moved their Doge, they got someone to move their Doge, they're participating, how do we help them now earn in the trading fees that are happening on chain, which in Doge is basically zero right now. I mean, you look at Solana, right. Just Sol itself, like 50% of Sol volume is on DEXs and 50% is on exchanges. It's like 100 and 0 on Dogecoin. So if we're able to take that money on chain and now it's trading decentralized, how do we let the people actually profit from that? So I would say that's something we're trying to do that I think is like the most important. Again, this is the people's currency. This is the whole point. We're not going to change anything in the world if we don't try to, shift this power dynamic and build things from the ground up in a way that empowers the people. I can give an example on the technical side of something that's actually super innovative that we're doing as well. And I mean, this is something that would potentially appeal to basically experienced DeFi users from other chains, not just necessarily Doge people, but we basically have a couple things, okay? So we actually have a pretty innovative Doge-backed stablecoin model called US Doge that is being built. And this is pretty special because it's going to enable Doge users. It's not like, hey, buy US Doge instead of USDT or USDC or something like that, right? That's not, we're not going out to the world and saying hey, this is better. What we're doing is creating financial rails for Doge users such that if they want to borrow money, if they want to buy something, there's a much more effective way to do it, whether they don't want to sell their Doge and they need to make a payment, whether they're actually trying to earn with savings, whether they can earn with Doge, they can earn with dollars, they can earn Doge for holding dollars. And so there's a lot of cool new financial opportunities that enables for the Doge holders. For the serious DeFi folks, we actually have a lending protocol that actually is the most advanced risk engine in all of DeFi. This is something that Web 2 figured out long ago. It's not really made its way to DeFi yet. We have safer leverage, better capital efficiency, all this kind of stuff that if you're I don't know, if you're a DeFi trader, if you're a DeFi user, if you're some other protocol, if you're some fund, you're going to see this and you're going to actually want to tap into this. And objectively, actually, this will be the best place for lending, for leverage, for sort of complicated financial products. This is where we blur the lines of meme to serious. I think it's funny if, oh my God, Dogecoin actually has the better risk model and safer lending and safer leverage and starts to actually be tapped into by Ethereum protocols, by Solana protocols, whatever. I'm definitely excited about that. I just want to show the world this joke is so funny that it's flipped the script basically.
I mean, to be fair, what's not funny is having your wallet hacked or having a malfunction on a trade or even having your information lost in a leak, right? That's not funny. So in a way, you could argue that it's very funny to have something that works very well and that is made to not only attract new users, but to really serve the ones that exist already. So philosophically, I'm following you. I'd love to hear more about the role of US Doge because, stablecoins are obviously in the news quite a lot with the Genius Act and, Stable and Clarity coming close behind. So how does it work and why is it such a critical piece to the puzzle for DogeOS?
So I don't want to go too deep into how it works because the team behind it is best equipped to answer that. Sure. But it is a Doge collateralized stablecoin model. Again, taking advantage of our better risk models to basically make it more efficient and much safer. More stable, more safe, more easily approachable by a common person. I think the important part to this, to a normal person, is that we basically integrated a totally unique yield strategy behind this, such that we can actually let people, take US dollars against their Doge and actually earn more Doge at the same time. This is something that, is maybe philosophically similar to certain DeFi things let's say Athena, for instance, but it doesn't work the same at all. And this is something I'm really excited about because I haven't seen this a lot in DeFi. Normally in DeFi, most of the yield out there comes from really two sources. I would say one is it's actually just inflation of different coins, right? A lot of the yield is coming from Ethereum inflation, or it's coming especially from new protocols that are incentivizing liquidity. That's not really real yield, right? It's sort of everything's moving around and around and around, but the yield's not coming from an outside source. I think Athena's a good example because there's a real yield coming from something, okay? They're doing funding rate arbitrage, kind of market neutral strategy that's actually happening, on exchanges. It's not like coming from like the printing of another token or something like that. And then the other source, I guess, is really lending that delivers yield, but it's only really that people want to borrow US dollars in crypto. Like if you want to like loan out your Bitcoin, you're getting like, 0.01% or something. But if you want to loan out your stable coins, like there's a lot of good yield there. There's always demand to borrow stable coins. And so we've basically created this protocol, or we have teams creating protocols where you're going to be able to earn real yield on your Dogecoin, which I think is actually an absolute game changer. I mean, Doge itself has a tiny bit of inflation. If we can actually earn yield beyond that little bit of inflation, it sort of changes the economics of Dogecoin in a crazy way. Maybe it takes us to Mars.
Maybe Jupiter, why be conservative?
Right. Let's not stop there. Let's find a new planet and colonize it with Shiba Inus. I mean, the sky's the limit. Elon's working on this stuff. Like Mars first, and then we'll see. Basically, there's a couple other things this enables. There's this yield opportunity around Dogecoin, but there's also like, okay, you have these Doge users. They want to spend their Doge. Not everywhere accepts Doge, but maybe it accepts stable coins. I mean, we all know stablecoin adoption is going crazy right now. It's like the hot narrative. It's not just like a narrative. It's really happening, right? So you can also basically, take US Doge against your Doge and spend it on something. And we have like amazing platforms where, you can book your travel and actually get crazy discounts. You can buy all sorts of things. And this kind of enables you to be like Doge native, but now actually have like liquidity and make the money, Doge's money. We make it like a little more useful by providing like this bridge to the dollar. Of course, the end goal here is that Doge is the money, right? Which is why it's a Doge-backed coin. Really, it's all underpinned by Doge itself. Which means you're really only like, you're keeping it true to Doge. You're making all the value accrue back to Doge, and you're empowering Doge holders to kind of earn from the utility that this creates.
Yeah, and so since the Genius Act passed, has that changed anything about how you're going to have to back Doge US? Since I know it has to be like a one-to-one, having the assets to back it. Like, are you still just going to have Doge be that main asset, or are you going to have to like diversify?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think first of all, and again, we ourselves are not launching this protocol, right? And so first of all, it's fully decentralized. This is not like a custodial stablecoin model. Now, how I think we need a bit of subsequent legislation post Genius Act to see how this kind of stuff is actually going to play out. It's going to be interesting.
Yes. Everyone's like, I guess a starting point's better than nothing. We're like, we move so fast, guys. What's the next bill? And the next and the next.
Exactly. And I think it's like the Genius Act, I think is a great step forward. At the same time, it is a bit of like a rich get richer situation because they basically banned interest-bearing stablecoins. Now, we're not proposing necessarily that this is an interest-bearing stablecoin. In fact, we're proposing like that you can earn interest on Doge and there's other stuff going on there. But again, that is somewhat, it's like somewhat counter to our philosophy. I think this is basically like banking all over again, where like I don't want to name our friends who run all the biggest stable coins in the world, but the reality is like, why do they get to earn all the yield and you don't get any of it? And now this act, which we all know how lobbying works. Obviously, the people with the hundreds of billions of dollars backing their stable coins, earning like a 4.5% risk-free yield on it, they don't want to give that to the people. And guess what? Now it's illegal to give that yield to the people.
How weird. How did that happen?
Yeah, how did that happen, right?
Who's hanging out in DC with big stacks of cash?
Yeah. So, I don't even know if I should say this kind of stuff. But anyway, it's done. I said it. So, yeah. I think honestly on the legislation side, this is a lawyer's job to see how it all works, but I think there's advantages in A, building something fully decentralized, and B, worst case scenario, there's going to be certain countries that can't access certain products, or certain products are not going to be able to be put right in front of those users in an app in a certain country, and so on and so forth. But the whole reason we're in this space is sort of to break free from the control of the banks and the governments and the puppet masters of the world. And so I think we should certainly, not compromise on the vision because we're worried about that stuff. We should build to the vision and figure out how to make it work one way or another.
Absolutely. That it doesn't get much more Web3 than that. So let's talk a little bit more about, why DeFi users should care. I know we've got a really awesome Doge community here, but I think with any launch, we're happy to bring everybody to the table. So So DeFi users have basically heard every pitch at this point. They've heard about every dashboard, every protocol, this and that. So if I'm a power user who's bridged to every roll up and farmed every coin, then why should I pay attention to what's happening on DogeOS?
So I think the secret here is actually somewhat simple. And the reality is, if you're like a serious DeFi power user, the only thing that really matters are the numbers. You will go anywhere, asterisk, that's like safe and trusted and so on and so forth. You will go anywhere if the yield is better. You will lend your coins or whatever US stablecoin you want to lend out on any chain and protocol that you trust. You're just going to go where the yield is better. And so the reality is, and this is not easy to do, right? I mean, most ecosystems, especially the big ones, and especially the newer they are incentivizing the yield themselves, right? And this is like, it's definitely not sustainable, but the trick is you kind of do it and then you hope to gradually remove those incentives as the ecosystem builds up and like hopefully it all works. We're really trying to come out the gate with like genuinely better yield opportunities for a couple things. One is Doge, but there's not much competition in that right now because there aren't Doge yield opportunities across the ecosystem. But the other is stables as well. And reality, it's like you don't even have to pitch DeFi users. Like you're going to go to one of these DeFi super apps, you're going to see where's the best yield. If it's significantly better, everything's trusted, you're just going to go there. So I think that's the only way to like really, really win. You know, it's a two-pronged approach. One is like financial stuff for the Doge holders in Doge. That you're not really competing with some protocol on Ethereum. But like the big win here is like people come to Doge because, wow, the opportunity is better. The yield is better. The leverage is safer. I can mention, a couple, I talked about kind of US Doge. There's sort of innovative, really innovative sort of like delta neutral strategies that we're incubating that are going to be exposed through protocols to give true Doge yield to people. We also have, on the lending side, I mentioned kind of like this platform with advanced risk models and so on and so forth, but we also have like an innovative tokenized private credit product, which basically, long story short, I don't want to get too deep here. Long story short, we're bringing Web 2, like high Web 2 yields that haven't really been brought properly to DeFi before to Dogecoin. So again, if that's possible, if the yield is there, if advanced investors, DeFi users, whatever, understand it and trust it, there's absolutely no reason they wouldn't come there, right? I mean, it's really all about the numbers in the end.
And still so funny. I love this. Yeah, you're totally right. The DeFi trader is just going to be like stone cold logic driven. And I love the vision of those guys mixing in with all the meme degens. What if sending crypto felt more human? Pulse just launched Red Packets, a new way to gift tokens with meaning. It's gasless, gamified, and claimable inside group chats only. Think airdrops meet social cues on-chain. Backed by smart wallet tech and live across major L2s, Red Packets turn communities into microeconomies of gratitude and growth. No seed phrases, no friction, just connection with value. Check it out at pulse.social. So let's talk a little bit about something you've mentioned before. It's meme native flows. And you've mentioned that DogeOS is specifically designed for that. So can you explain what meme native flows means and how it creates a better user experience, whether that's for a trader, a farmer, or your everyday user?
I absolutely love that. This kind of touches on like who are the Doge users now? Who are the people in the world who've like heard of Doge or love the Doge meme that we might be able to onboard into crypto? If you went to some guy who's like loves the Doge meme, maybe even bought a Shiba Inu, maybe he's bought Dogecoin before, maybe he hasn't, and then you tell them, oh, there's all this great stuff. I mean, look, a lot of the stuff I'm saying sounds great. Sure, it's like, hey, it's a new financial system for the people, like it's better than your bank. Sure, someone's gonna be like, oh, sweet, or you can earn more in your savings account. Like, okay, sounds cool. And then you come into it and all of a sudden it's like, doesn't feel Doge-y, and it's not fun. Like that was your interest in the first place. Like your interest was in this adorable dog. Your interest was in this meme coin. Your interest was in the joke, the vision, the community, whatever.
The vibes.
Exactly.
Where are the vibes?
So like everything has to maintain the vibes or we're not really building for the community at all. And so I think, okay, what do like meme native flows mean? And obviously, kind of depends on the app and the use case. But again, like we're developing a wallet. We're now presenting Doge apps to the world when we launch in the new version of our wallet. It's sort of more like a Doge super app than a wallet. We're not even really calling it a wallet anymore. And so what does this look like? What does it mean? I mean, first and foremost, it has to be like an accessible user experience that is more akin to any like Web 2 app that someone would use, whether it's like a financial app. I think Cash App's a great example of just like a really simple, really accessible UX. Or if it's like, I don't know, some complex DeFi stuff, it's first of all, I would say we have a huge responsibility here if we're talking about like new users, Doge community that's not sophisticated, to first of all, not lead them into something where they could lose their money, get scammed,
right,
or like easily do something they don't understand, right? Like that's very dangerous. And yeah, it's certainly a problem in crypto. I mean, if you're like onboarded as a normie into the Solana meme coin casino and you just pick some random coin from Pump Fund because you like the meme, but you don't actually know about like block farms and rug pulls and liquidity pools and bundling and blah, 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 you're going to lose all your money. So
right.
I think it's the same with anything we're doing. We have to educate users without scaring them off. B, make a really, really simple, accessible, and fun UX. Again, the moment it becomes not fun, I think we've kind of like lost our purpose, because that is the purpose of Dogecoin. And so, I imagine something very simple. I don't imagine, I guess, we're building it, and others, we're really trying to guide new developers who are coming, maybe who weren't Doge people yet, and give them like all the resources we can, including, we've just come up with all sorts of designs, like kind of like for like fake apps and websites and protocols, where we've just like gone and be like, okay, if you want something a bit more serious but doji, let's come up with like a ton of assets that developers can just use. If you want something super memey, like here you go, do this. And so we're really trying to just make sure everything's kind of like true to the culture. You have a cohesive ecosystem without us just building everything, right? I think that's been a problem before in certain ecosystems, where it's like kind of the team builds the blockchain, then they build all the apps. We don't want to do that
right.
at all. That's not the point of Doge. It's supposed to be decentralized. And so we are going to just help developers who might need a little hand in terms of like figuring out how to make something super meme native or super Web 2 consumer friendly, so that like the ecosystem feels cohesive and fun and accessible. And it's also important because, I don't think their apps will succeed if they don't kind of know how to present it to the audience correctly. So yeah, I think that's basically it. I imagine everything's fun, everything's accessible. If you are introducing some yield or DeFi thing to users, like make it feel as simple as, a Revolut, a Cash App, like one of these like really good consumer fintech apps. Let's not like start from a crypto place where, okay, you've seen a crazy DeFi dashboard. Let's start from like the most widely used consumer apps in the world. And then, let's just make money fun. I think money is not fun for like 99% of people. Money is fun if you're a billionaire. You can just spend frivolously and have a blast.
Right.
Money is actually super stressful for most people. The best thing about Dogecoin is it's like an inherently fun form of money. The worst case, you might like smile just a little every time you use it because you see that cute dog looking back at you. And so I just want to make money more fun. Doge is the funnest money, and make the experience more fun and accessible.
Yeah. And I'd love to linger a little bit on what you said about, 99% of us don't find money fun. And, why is that? It's because we're living paycheck to paycheck. Money is this instrument that's been used against us. It's, it's not fun to not have money to cover your expenses, let alone to not be able to do those fun, whatever. If you think making money is fun, which I get it. I do feel a rush every time the Bitcoin price hits a new high, for sure. But, it feels like it ties in really beautifully to what you're talking about Dogecoin being the people's money, right? You wanting to not help people who have already made fortunes in crypto make more of a fortune, but to get those people who maybe they only have $100 of Doge or $1,000 of Doge that they haven't touched in 5 years, right? Like those are the people you want to make money fun for. So I feel like it fits into the narrative of what you're building really well. And so if we're talking about experimentation, right? You mentioned at the beginning of our conversation that you haven't yet done any grant programs or really done anything to entice developers to come in. So what kind of builders are coming in, and who are you hoping to attract as the platform goes live and as you begin to build more buzz?
Good question. And so, yeah, we haven't done a grant program yet. That doesn't mean we won't. But I think it's actually the most amazing thing about what we're doing right now is that developers want to build in Doge for reasons I discussed at the beginning, the distribution to this new community, because Doge is so fun and awesome. I meet a lot of Ethereum OGs who, Doge launched just before Ethereum, and they've always loved Doge. They're excited to build. We're bringing EVM compatibility, and so that's a great market. What kind of devs are coming? Okay, it's everything. It's like hobbyists who are just Doge people who finally are like, oh, I can really do something with Doge, and it's all the way up to blue chip DeFis from Ethereum, Solana, and so forth. How do we get them in? I mean, Doge, people actually Doge pill themselves. I meet people, I tell them what we're doing.
It's so true.
It's true. Honestly, I meet someone, I tell them what we're doing. Sometimes the first 10 seconds is kind of okay. And then maybe we're at a party or maybe we're on a call, whatever. They'll come back to me 15 minutes later even and go oh my God. For instance, I mean, we have probably
they're just in the corner at the party on their phone, looking up Doge.
Seriously, we have one of the most innovative, kind of I want to say token launchpad, but when you hear that, you think, okay, pump fun. I don't want to say that, but let's say asset issuance token creation platforms that I think is going to completely change the game. I think it's the first major innovation since something like Pump Fun, where you can have much more sustainable token creation. Okay, so this is kind of serious. But it's still meme. It could be real world assets. It could be memes. It could be anything. And the guy who was building this, he Doge pilled himself in the span of 10 minutes. I told him what we were doing. I was like, you should be doing this on Doge. And he was just like, okay, that's pretty funny. All this serious RWA infrastructure and all this incredible stuff we built on Doge, sure. And then he called me 10 minutes after our call and just talked for 30 minutes straight without pausing, basically explaining why Doge was the best place to do all of this and how it's absolutely insane.
Oh my God.
And I didn't even have to convince him. I didn't give him a single talking point. I did absolutely nothing. It's you just plant the seed. First people are ha, Doge. And then they're why not Doge? And then they're
whoa, oh Doge.
God, Doge is the place. We're going full Doge. And so that team has gone full Doge. So many teams we meet have gone full Doge. And the other things, we're just really trying to support the developers. I think it's less of an ecosystem and more of a family. If you join the Doge fam, we're going to embrace you. We're going to support you. The community is going to embrace you and support you. We're going to help introduce you to the community, to the users who can beta test your apps. If you're a meme creation tool, here's the best memers that we know, and they'll help you. If you're something else, hey, we find the guys who are into it, and they're going to start giving you feedback. They're going to be shilling it to the community. I mean, we have incredible people on X who write super informative threads. They're making video content. None of these people are paid. They just see something awesome being built on Doge and they just go out there and start shilling it because they believe in it. And I think that's really powerful. So, we give devs this kind of access. We promise them, at least we can put what you build in front of the world, in front of the Dogecoin community. I mean, it's up to you for people to really want it, to actually capture those users, but we can give you that initial boost. And then we can also support you in auditing your protocols with all of this design builder packs that we're coming out with our wallet SDK, which actually makes it super easy to embed a wallet in your app and have a accessible one-click consumer experience where people don't need to write down a seed phrase, download a wallet, install a Chrome extension.
Right.
We're just making it easy. We're presenting people the opportunity, and a lot of people are into it. People are excited because Doge is just fun. I think everyone wants to have fun. If you can do your job, if your job is fun, you can have fun while doing your job, have fun while using your money, have fun all the time. I mean, there's nothing better. And so I honestly, the first thing I say when someone's oh man, okay, we're going to commit, we're going to come build on Doge. I'm look, I can really only promise you one thing. The rest, I'm sure I'll pitch you and so on and so forth, but I can promise you you're going to have fun. And that's the starting point. And people want to have fun. People want to build with other fun people. People want to build with a fun, supportive community. And so that's kind of ground zero. And so far it's working.
Yeah, sounds like it. That's great. So we're running short on time. So I just really wanted to quickly get to the ZK upgrade because that is very important. Privacy is cool. Keeping your information locked under key is great. So your team has proposed a core upgrade to Dogecoin with native ZK verification. So this is OP_check ZKP that I'm talking about here. What would this unlock for the ecosystem, and how realistic is the path to implementing it? Is this something we're going to see soon?
Good question. Our goal here is to really enable native building on top of Doge, okay? We don't want to like bridge Doge to Solana and then like make some app on Solana, right? People want native Doge experiences. People want like safe and trustless ability to, enable lending, yield whatever on top of Dogecoin. And in order to do this, we do need an upgrade. Dogecoin is like Bitcoin in that there's no smart contracts and so on. And it's actually, in a lot of ways, like early Bitcoin before, a few other innovations that enabled things like Babylon, for instance. And
right.
So what we're trying to do here is, first of all, build on a movement that was started maybe almost a year ago by my friends Carter and Tony at QED, who proposed another ZK opcode upgrade to Dogecoin. And this was met with like quite a lot of excitement in the Doge community that this is a path we could go down. And when we saw that there was like, the community was receptive to this, we kind of got on board. And so we pulled a research team together to like just continue this path and start exploring, okay, like what other ways could we implement this? Can we improve upon this? Can we support other proof systems and so on and so forth? Because our goal here is really, everyone working together to move Dogecoin forward and enable ZK for a couple reasons. Is we're building a ZK rollup on Dogecoin. And in order for it to become a true ZK rollup and be as trustless or trust minimized as possible, an upgrade is needed. And the second is because it does, I think, enable things that are core to the Dogecoin mission, okay? Dogecoin itself is never gonna add smart contracts. Like that's not gonna happen. It's not trying to be Solana, it's not trying to be Ethereum. Dogecoin is money. It's the ultra fast and cheap, faster, cheaper than Bitcoin. That's how it gets a lot of attention beyond the meme itself. And a ZK rollup can do a number of things. Like we're using it to bring smart contracts developer capability. It can also be used to scale payments. So if Dogecoin gets adopted by the world for payments, Dogecoin itself cannot do 1 million transactions a second, but you could build, an ultra fast, ultra secure payments layer with ZK that can scale it to the world. And you mentioned privacy. I think that's something that really, really speaks to the Doge community and ethos, right? This is the people's currency. Wrestle control from the banks, from the powers that be, enabling private transactions on top of Doge, a privacy layer, whatever it may be. We also have some exciting stuff cooking on that front. I think that's like really, really important and true to Doge. So how does this look? Like what's the process here? I think, first of all, it's long term, okay? To bring such a substantial upgrade to a, $40, $50 billion currency managed by a decentralized small team of volunteer devs. There's no one behind Dogecoin.
Yes.
We're not in charge, no one's in charge. It's volunteers who have carried this on and maintained it. That's really difficult. No one wants to be that guy or girl or group that, approve something and press the button and something went wrong, like a disaster occurred.
Right.
Dogecoin's working. It's working just fine, right? And so I think that's a big challenge. I think it's why similar proposals on Bitcoin haven't and may never come to fruition, because now you have trillions of dollars at stake. And who are really the stakeholders at this point? Well, it's like BlackRock and Michael Saylor and the shareholders of these companies and so on and so forth. I think the stakes are too high to actually innovate. I think the good thing in Dogecoin is that although the stakes are high, there is still a culture of being different, right? People aren't afraid to be different. And, these ideas are things that have been talked about for a long time. And so our goal here is, and has been, and I'm, really grateful that we kind of gathered the resources to devote a lot of effort to this, because it's sort of like deep technical stuff. Many of the people that worked on this are PhDs. This is really serious stuff. And so I'm really grateful we were able to do that. And, since proposing this upgrade, the inbound from brilliant researchers across crypto, a lot of Bitcoin OGs, has been insane. I mean, everyone went, wow, we've been pushing in Bitcoin for years and years to try to do this kind of stuff. We've done all this crazy research. And the Doge community is actually open to it. Okay, this could be interesting. And so our goal here is really to join the mission that a number of people are working on, to just continue the research, get this on a path to eventually coming to Dogecoin, and attract more brilliant people to contribute. I mean, it is a small handful of brilliant and passionate volunteers that maintain Dogecoin Core. And I think anytime I've talked to any of them, and I was with a couple just last week, they want to see more people come and contribute to Dogecoin Core. And I think what we're able to do is, publicize that this is happening, bring in, every time another brilliant person comes in, it's more attractive to another researcher who's kind of working on the same study.
Absolutely.
To collaborate, and especially if they see that, wow, it might actually be possible, We didn't just do all this research for fun. It's actually more fun when it becomes reality. So yeah, that's a pretty high level what we're trying to do.
That's really exciting. Okay, awesome. Well, Jordan, I like to finish off my interviews with a lightning round. So
Right.
You game?
Fun.
Yeah, we like to keep it fun. Okay, so I'll take the guess that Doge is your favorite cryptocurrency. So I'll first ask, what is your favorite cryptocurrency after Doge?
Bitcoin.
What's the dApp you're most excited to see on Doge?
No, I have to pick a favorite. Ooh.
I won't tell the others.
Honestly, I am most excited for any Doge game. I am a gamer. I want to play cute Doge games.
Excellent. And then finally, Bitcoin is digital gold, then Doge is digital
Money. Peer-to-peer electronic cash, as first described in Satoshi's white paper, but I believe the torch is being carried in the Dogecoin community.
Whoa, okay. That's a big claim. I'll be excited to see what our listeners have to say about it. Jordan, thank you so much for joining the Defiant Podcast. It's been a pleasure hearing about what you're building with both MyDoge and DogeOS, and hope to follow some great successes in the coming months.
Thank you so much. This has been super fun. To the moon.
To the moon. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us on the moon. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. I'm off next week, but join me in 2 weeks when we'll be talking to Adrian Brink, co-founder of Namada and Anoma, about sovereignty, resilience, and control in data and systems. But until then, stay tuned, stay informed, stay defiant.